Hi, I'm Nick Elsmore, Chief Apiarist with Security Colony. We're one of the world's largest cybersecurity collaboration platforms. If you haven't signed up yet, please do set up an account. It's free. You can sign up at securitycolony.com. Today I want to have a chat about the threats that we expect to see this year and into the foreseeable future. This isn't your traditional, here are the top 5 things or top 10 things that we're forecasting over the next 1 or 2 years. This is more an observation of some of the fundamental changes that we've seen over recent years and how that's starting to play out in the attacks and the attack types that we're seeing. The key word that is going to define cybersecurity attacks over the foreseeable future is ubiquitous. The attacks are simply going to be coming all the time from everywhere and attacking pretty much everything. And to really get the perspective on that, we have to go back a bit in history. If we go back, for example, to 1994, a guy named Vladimir Levin hacked into Citibank and stole about $10 million. Now, if you think back in 1994, the internet then really wasn't what the internet is today. There wasn't this huge base of mum and dad users there. And so if you wanted to actually attack a bank and get a financial return, you really had to go after the bank themselves. What happened over the decade or two following that is obviously this exponential increase in the number of users online, and particularly the number of users of online banking systems. And as that increase happened, it started to become more and more viable to actually attack individual users and steal $1,000 from 1,000 users rather than trying to steal $1 million from a bank directly. And so we started to see this evolution from high-value attacks to high-volume attacks that were individually going after low-value targets. But then as things started to continue to evolve, what we started to see in the last few years is this concept of a CEO email scam. These are phishing attacks that are being highly crafted to go after high-value targets, CEOs, CFOs, and boards of directors in companies. And we've seen some extremely large losses. An organization called FACC in Europe managed to lose 40 million euro through one of these attacks. And so this is then this evolution, having gone from high value to high volume, we're now back to high value again, but the high volume attacks haven't gone away. So when we talk about the ubiquitousness of attacks, what we're talking about is the fact that we're now seeing both at the same time. We're seeing heavy automation, the use of bots going after high volume attacks, and we're also seeing really well-crafted and targeted attacks going after high-value targets. So the ubiquitousness of attacks is referring to the fact that everyone, everywhere, is being subjected to attack at the same time, almost for the first time that we've seen it. The other element of ubiquitousness that we're seeing is, I refer to cybercrime often as water in a leaky bucket. It's going to find the holes. And so if there is a weakness in your organizational process or a weakness in your technology, cybercrime will find a way to exploit it. Now, obviously, we're hearing a lot of talk at the moment about the Internet of Things and the vulnerability of those devices, and that's the new stuff. The reality is, if you've got older systems, whether it's ICS or SCADA systems that are effectively control systems that often have really long life cycles and don't get refreshed as often, if those are vulnerable, there's just as high a chance that those are going to be subject to attack as well. And of course, business processes are always subject to attack. And really, this is where CEO email scams actually come in. If you have a business process anywhere in your organization that involves someone receiving an email and moving money around on the basis of that email without some other kind of out-of-band confirmation, that process is going to be attacked and it will be defrauded. And the last part of the leaky bucket metaphor is really your supply chain. A significant number of organizations are investing in building systems and building processes to try and help with that process of understanding the cybersecurity risk posed by your supply chain. And of course, Security Colony is one of them. We've recently released our vendor risk assessment tool. And if you sign up for an account at securitycolony.com, you can see your own score and see how that tool works to give you an idea of some approaches that are being taken. In closing, our key message around the threat forecast for the foreseeable future is really about the ubiquitousness of attacks. And it's about ensuring that when you're considering the cybersecurity risk exposure of your organization, you're not just looking at the organization in a very narrow way, but you're really looking at all the technology, old and new, the business processes, your suppliers, and ultimately both considering both volume-based attacks that are generally going to be highly automated and require a technical response, and also value-driven attacks, which are generally going to be targeting business processes and require a process-driven response. Thanks for watching. If you have any feedback, we'd love you to send it through. You can either send it through directly through the Ask Hyvant forums on Security Colony, or you can send us an email at help@securitycolony.com. Thanks again for watching.